I've always loved video games, but for my entire life, my first love has always been music. Since before I could read, I always knew I wanted to create music and make video games. Since elementary school, I would write down songs and video game ideas in my class. There was always something about both mediums that always pulled me in. I don't watch much TV. I do go to way more movies than the average person, but as a rule, most of my entertainment consumption is podcasts, music, books, and video games, though I do love a good historical documentary, the scholarly ones and the trashy ones. In all of my years of absorbing the mediums of music and video games, I've come to conclude that many people, maybe even most consumers, don't truly love the mediums. Now, this isn't some elitist take of, the common man doesn't understand the idiosyncrasies that make a good game or song, as I don't think you need to understand every nuance to enjoy something, or even understand how something is made. What I mean is, music and gaming is something different for many people than what it is for me. Now, that isn't bad in any way. I wouldn't want to qualify this, as in doing so I think attempts to gatekeep something that is meant to be experienced, which is just silly and unreasonable. So, what do I mean by most people don't truly enjoy games, and by extension, music? Well, ask yourself, what is gaming for you? Is it a form of entertainment? Is it a social experience that you get to participate in? Is it a way to connect with friends? Is it a competition where you get to try to become the best? Or maybe it's a fantasy that you get to live out. See, we all game for different reasons, and the reasons why we game shape which games we play, and how willing we are to engage in new experiences in the medium. It's why we can have over 3 billion people in the world who play video games, while being labeled as a gamer can still feel subversive. Why someone can own a PlayStation and still not consider themselves a gamer. For those who enjoy games as a social experience, I think they fall into at least 3 different camps. Those who play a game with their friends, and only game with their friends. These are people who usually play live service games, and use video games in place of hanging out, going to the bar, heading over to someone's house, and so on. Games for them are a social experience, and they're likely locked into a few franchises at most. Sometimes only one game. This may be an MMO, first-person shooter, a sports title, but it's a game that can be played over and over again. The second type of social gamer is those who like to be in a community. Think of this as the person who goes to music festivals for the atmosphere and the party vibe rather than the artists. Sometimes they like to watch a lot of streamers and probably know more about a specific title that they're passionate about than you know about any specific game. However, overall, they're probably not as passionate about the hobby of gaming itself. It might just be a single franchise, or just the community they belong to. I'm sure there's some people in the Vita homebrew scene who are more into the community and the friends, rather than the handheld, or playing the homebrew games. These are usually the people who keep the chat on Discord alive. Then last, we have the people who don't want to miss out on a cultural moment. They crave to be in the know. They were in line for Skyrim, bought Elden Ring day 1, same with Black Myth Wukong, and they'll be there for GTA 6 as well. They'll play all the biggest games and enjoy them, but don't dive deep into the medium or its history, and they likely don't revisit games after they're no longer culturally relevant. Then you have the people who game to unwind and relax. These can be people who play cozy games, really easy games, or fighting games that are usually fine with button mashing, like most anime fighters. These people just want to take their frustrations out and not have to think. Sometimes regular gamers fall into this category, but these individuals differ because they solely play for this type of reason. Video games are a way that they can turn off their brain and accomplish something. Yes, the story may engage them, and the gameplay may entertain them, but in the end, they really just want to feel accomplished, with as little resistance as possible. Then you have individuals who play to be the best. For them, it's all about competition. These individuals usually play multiplayer games, and sometimes do engage in a community. Just see the fighting game community. It's all about conquest, and becoming the best, or at least the best version of yourself. These individuals usually mostly play one genre of game, whether it be sports, FPS, fighters, MOBAs. Sometimes they may engage in other types of games, but usually the other types of games that they engage in have elements of their primary genre. Honestly, I think you can include any esport type of game in this category. Their interest in a game usually lasts as long as the competitive scene. Once the scene dies, they're over with the game. Then you have those who want to live out a fantasy. They play games to correlate with the dream they have in their life, that either they haven't achieved yet or they can't. If they want to drive a big rig, they're more than likely playing Euro Truck Simulator. If they dream of being a soldier, then maybe Ghost Recon or Call of Duty. Or if they have dreams of being the ultimate karate master, who's also a billionaire, they play Batman games. These gamers like very specific games, and will likely only buy a few games each generation. They don't really care about being good or bad at the game, it's just living out their fantasy. Then you have gamers who chase the challenge. They play Dark Souls with the Donkey Kong bongos, Guitar Hero blindfolded, and they're always looking for the next game to conquer. They revel on difficulty, and no mountain is too high or steep in their eyes. They usually start a new game on the hardest difficulty possible, and do everything in their powers to complete it. These individuals can also be trophy hunters. Usually they don't care for cozy or easy games, and can be found making really impressive YouTube videos. Then you have collectors, which I think fall into two different categories. You have the collectors who actually play their games, and then you have the collectors who just like having a full set. The collectors who play their games aren't usually about completing games, but have a love for the medium overall, and are usually among some of the most hardcore of gamers. Individuals who just collect, I put them as no different than people who collect records, stamps, trading cards, or any other collectible. Sometimes it's just an obsession about getting everything, sometimes it's an attachment to something that they once loved, and other times it's just purely about money. But either way, if you're just buying games, and you're not actually playing them, I wouldn't really consider you a gamer. Then we have the all-around gaming nerd. I fall into this category. They usually play games from all genres and generations. Sure, they have their favorites, but they're usually willing to try almost any type of game. These are people who follow developers, who purchase indie games, and are usually vocal about shady industry practices. And I think they might be the third smallest group of gamers, right outside of collectors and competitive gamers. This is why so many of us get confused by the profitability of bad industry practices, since most of us live in this echo chamber. This makes us feel like we're larger than what we actually are. These gamers are usually tastemakers, and make other types of gamers aware of great new releases. Sometimes they can be console warriors, but as a rule, they just love the medium. 1 million PlayStation gamers only play Call of Duty, and 6 million other gamers on PlayStation spend 70% of their gaming time playing Call of Duty. I'm sure there's something similar for Fortnite and other major live service games and sports titles. We all know someone who only buys the yearly Madden release, who spends 100% of their gaming time playing Madden, and likely don't even consider themselves as gamers. They're a Madden player. Or how about your grandma who plays Candy Crush daily on Facebook, but chastises you for your gaming habits? Or your boss who's playing an idle clicker game throughout the workday, but won't even give you the day off for the big game release? Do you consider these people the same type of gamer as you? Do they even game for the same reason as you do? I doubt it. So, why is this important? Well, first, for game devs, you need to understand the type of gamer you're trying to target with your game, and where your criticism is coming from. For example, if a cozy gamer complained to me about the difficulty of hand cannon, it carries a lot less weight than the type of gamer who's looking for a challenge. That's not to say that their opinion doesn't have merit, but since that wasn't the demographic I was attempting to target in the first place, I consider their purchase of the game more of a fluke. And for gamers, I see online all the time how people complain about particular franchise releases and certain industry practices. This is where you have to think critically and ask yourself, is this game even marketed towards your style of gamer? If you lack interest in it, most likely it wasn't meant for you. Also, as you shake your fist at things like loot boxes and microtransactions, for someone else out there, these make their games exciting. I'll never understand it, but hey, you do you. We all game for different reasons, and this hobby means different things to all of us, and we all have our own spears, so just enjoy your realm. Ignore the rest of it, and I can guarantee you, you'll enjoy this hobby that much more. That's it for today, everyone. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your time.